Hi, hello. Welcome back. We're on Baton Rouge, the Moon Griffon Show, Talk 107.3 FM, guaranteed broadcast. And appreciate them letting us use the studio. It's Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline, 844-766-6607. Ron Cross, and of course, the CEO and president of Lady of the Lake Hospital, Mr. E.J. Kuiper, join us. I'm going to go back to, we're going to bring Mr. Kuiper back in. We got a segment because there's a lot of other things going with the hospital we want to know about. And there's something else that would be built by this that we want to get to with Mr. Kuiper. But the last one I had for you is dealing with Oakview because there was some information came out about one of the guys, and I think he had stepped down and resigned. And
that's right.
And I said on the radio that day, I said that don't mean that has anything to do with this project.
Correct.
And so let's talk a little bit about the company and this project. Is that any weighs into this at all?
No. The Department of Justice investigation into the Oakview Group and their former CEO was connected to a project a whole nother state away in Texas. DOJ and Oakview Group signed a non-prosecution agreement, waiving them of all liability in that. Their CEO stepped down, has been replaced by another one of their executives. And when the news came out, LSU and our team, we all stepped back and took a pause. And said, let's evaluate this.
When you evaluate, do you kind of investigate kind of what was done?
Absolutely.
And go back and talk to your people to make sure none of that was done here? Absolutely.
And we had some tough conversations with their team to make sure that they were going to put safeguards in place to ensure that even the allegations and the perceptions of what happened could never happen again, and that there was no connection to the project here in Baton Rouge. At the end of the day, the Oakview Group is the best in the business at what they do. They build arenas all over the world, and they're putting $400 million on the line to do a transformational economic development project here in Baton Rouge. And so we wanted to make sure that and we're still in the process, concluding that process of that due diligence to ensure that we're in a good spot to move forward and bring that vote to the Board of Supervisors, hopefully, in the next couple months.
Yeah, let me bring back Mr. Kuiper, bring back EJ. And so, EJ, just from a CEO standpoint, you feel good. I heard his case, but you feel real good that y'all did y'all due diligence on making sure that y'all feel like this project is as clean as it could be.
Right. I feel very good.
Okay.
I know LSU has very high standards, but you got to remember, Moon, that I report to sisters, right?
Yep.
And so our ethical standards, moral standards are very, very high. And so we wanted to make sure, like Ryan said, that OVG going forward had the right leadership in place, had the financial backing necessary to pull off a project like this, and is the right partner for LSU and for Our Lady of the Lake. And they are.
Yeah, by the way, when you say you CEO and president, is it just the lake or you oversee all other? Because y'all, let's bring in, y'all have other properties in the state of Louisiana. It's not just here. Now, this is the main focus, big area. What other facilities are y'all involved in? So people will know how y'all have a broad branch in the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm the president and CEO of Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System.
Okay.
Our Lady of the Lake is an important subsidiary of that, our biggest flagship hospital, as you know, level 1 trauma center. We have a children's hospital here. But we also have Our Lady of Lourdes in Lafayette, great hospital. We have St. Francis up in Monroe.
Very familiar with that.
And we have St. Dominic in Jackson, Mississippi, and then over 150 clinics throughout the Gulf South.
So y'all got basically three operations here.
4 markets, and then lots of sub-markets in between.
Wow. So y'all, and they've been around, all those have been around a while too.
113 years. It started in Monroe. It's impressive. I love working for the sisters. They're in it for all the right reasons, right? And so lots of companies have mission statements hanging on the wall, and that's good. But I have walking and breathing mission statements, walking up and down the hallways in our hospitals and clinics,
asking questions,
and they remind me, to make sure that we stay close to the mission, which is creating healthy, thriving communities, and that's why this arena project is such a good fit for Our Lady of the Lake.
Yeah, you mentioned St. Francis, but I've seen hospitals come and go around there, but they've been the steady one in the Monroe area. I lived up there 35 years, and we've had them come and go, and people bought out and bankrupt and all that, but that's the one main stay in Monroe, Louisiana. I was there for a long time, and they're still sitting there.
It sure is, yeah, and we are about to announce some very exciting projects throughout our health system. We're doing a lot of stuff here in Baton Rouge. We'll have a $55 million ED remodel. We're going to build a medical office building at St. Elizabeth's in Gonzales. We have a behavioral health center called the TAW Center that we're going to put $30 million in.
Wow.
We're going to build a new cancer institute right here in Baton Rouge. And that's just a Baton Rouge investment. Then we are doing Advancing Acadiana in Lafayette and expanding capacity at St. Francis in Monroe and at St. Dominic as well. So it's an exciting time for our health system.
But y'all are more than just the hospitals. Y'all about total health.
We sure are.
Am I right by saying that? Because you talk about clinics and things like that. That's about total health.
You know, a good part of what we do and what we stand for is keeping people out of the hospitals. We're blessed to be here. We're honored to take care of people when they're really sick. But our real job is to make sure that we create healthier communities.
Yeah, you can keep them out of hospitals. That's not a bad thing. Well, I mean, and what I mean by that, it's your business, but all this other stuff too. You're talking about a cancer center. We got so many people that leave this state to go take care of a cancer problem.
That's right.
And I'm sure that you're trying to just get it here where you don't have to leave.
No, you know, I was recruited here from Omaha, Nebraska, where I was leading the Midwest operations for Common Spirit Health. And when I came here to Baton Rouge, I was very, very impressed with the quality of the medical
So
staff.
you thought we'd be back, more of the Moon Griffon show. We'll take a break. Be right back. Yeah, we're going to do one more.
Yeah,
it's
very
about
good.
a 10-minute deal.
That's good.
So where, and I can think of some other things. I know you're building a medical facility.
To me, you know.
Well,
Griffon.
this is what you're going to kick out. So we have a family reunion. This was a long time ago. But I was in the radio business. And I said Griffon. So we get this deal. There was some Griffon here that were attorneys that were women. And they were Griffons. That's what they called themselves. And they went walking around. We want to meet Moon. And you know what they wanted to meet me for? Because I said the last name properly. I promise you, got the whole family reunion was falling out laughing. It was good.
So how'd your mom and dad say it?
Griffon.
Griffin?
I'm telling you, I got to jacking with it on the radio program. The Moon Griffon show. And you do that about 60, 80 shows.
Right.
So you're out in the public.
Right.
And you meet new people all the time. Hey, Moon Griffon, how you doing? No, I would say, Moon Griffon, how you doing? You go, hey, Griffon. You can't do Griffon? I said, that's me. He said, oh, my God. Why are you using Griffon? And I think, it's the stage name. No, that's how we say it.
Yeah, right.
My wife even says it like
Right.
that. And if my wife says it, we in.
Hey.
That's how it happened. So he was speaking on stage, and I'm texting you like,
Yeah.
hey, if it wasn't for you telling me what church I went to, I'm like, I would have never connected the dots. Never would have connected. He's talking, and I'm like,
Does he talk like him?
well, he's got the boisterous
Mannerism,
I'll be
deep
honest.
voice.
I'll be honest. I was watching him. I'm thinking, and it really, like, I was like, let me find out. And so we took a break, and he was in the back of the room, and I said, hey, this might seem odd. I said, do you know Moon Griffon? That's my pop. I was like, oh, man.
Then he tells me he was talking about his pops doing the sermon. That ain't good.
No, it was all good things, and so I'm like,
I told him quit lying about me.
it was good though.
I told Derek the other day, I said, you need to quit using me as an example. That's not good.
I will say this though, because I tend to just, I don't know. And I told my friend Jeremy, I said, he was with me. I said, I know his dad. He's like, of course you do. Because every time we go somewhere, I'm like, I know somebody who's related to somebody or just something.
And a good kid. He's the one got the twin boys we play with. We saw him Sunday, man. I have a blast. My wife always go, you get down on the floor with them babies, they boys, they about 2.5, almost 3. And she says, I can't tell which one's the kids are, you or them. I'm having fun, man. This is what I'm supposed to do with grandbabies.
Right.
I roll it on the floor, they tackle you. They love to come to the house on big fishermen, get in the boat.
Yeah.
Tell you about pulling a hook out of my finger fishing about 3 months ago by myself. And I'm talking about deep. Hey, welcome to the Moon Griffon Show. Welcome back, 844-766-6607 in the state's capital in Baton Rouge with our good friends at Guarantee Broadcasting. Ron Cross, been knowing Ron for years. He's working with our friends at Lady of the Lake and, of course, E.J. Kuiper, CEO and president. Hey, one of the things I wanted to ask you about real quick before you guys get out of here, I know the arena you're talking about, but you also mentioned sports medicine and some stuff that may be coming around that. Talk a little bit about it because I know it. And once again, remember I told you earlier, y'all got stuff coming down the pipe nobody knows. That's just business. That's what people do. They say, here's what we're going to do, but next. So talk a little bit about some other stuff that may be popping up.
Yeah, one of the reasons we're so excited about the arena project is it's going to spur a lot of economic development once the arena goes up. And one of the projects that we have pledged building is a sports medicine institute adjacent to the arena.
So what would this thing do?
It'll have orthopedic medicine, sports medicine. We do that in partnership with our friends at Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. It'll have sports performance. We have partners in traction here locally. It'll have physical therapy, athletic training. It'll have imaging like CT, MRI. It'll have ORs. So it'll be the Taj Mahal of sports medicine right on the LSU campus. And obviously, we're taking care of all the student athletes right now. We're taking care of all the students, period, at LSU. But they currently have to travel to the lake or somewhere else to get their imaging done. Well, this will be right on the LSU arena. It'll be not just for the star athletes. We're honored to take care of those athletes, but this will be for the community to come to a center of excellence, the sports medicine.
I was going to ask you, so if you have an injury, Tiger Stadium, which ain't going away, by the way, the arena, or anything to do with the campus, you want it to run to emergency room?
No, that's right. You can
Pretty much could come there first.
You can take care of your injuries there, and like I said, not just for the star athletes, but this is for the weekend warriors as well. You know.
Oh, no doubt about it. Now, let me bring what's your name again, Ron? Ron, I got names rolling through my head. So Ron, you talked also about a little bit more about some other research type stuff that may come in around LSU as well, despite, I mean, not only what he talked about, but something even more.
Yeah, so we've been partnered with LSU going all the way back to right after Hurricane Katrina. We're coming up on the 20-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. You know, when the storm struck New Orleans, they had to bring the medical residents that were training there in New Orleans up to Baton Rouge to continue their training and provide care in the field house and all of that work. That began really Our Lady of the Lake's relationship with LSU under Governor Jindal when we did the public-private partnerships to say that it was wasting taxpayer dollars to continue to throw money at facilities like Earl K. Long and Charity in New Orleans. We struck these deals to be able to provide that care here in Baton Rouge. And then again in 2022, we created what we call our Championship Health Partnership, where we're focused on providing care to the LSU student body, to the 500 plus LSU student athletes, workforce development, ensuring that we've got the next pipeline and next generation of clinicians coming out of LSU that can get trained here and then stay here to work and grow their families.
The kicker is, I give you all our universities and everybody credit, and the medical. We train people here. They just don't stay.
We're the greatest exporter of medical talent in America.
But that's one of my frustrations in the whole 32 years I've been doing this is that we got to do a better job of making sure we have places for these kids to go to work. Now, I don't necessarily put that on you guys and people that create jobs. I put that on some of the government guys doing the right thing so y'all can create jobs, have the money to create jobs. We got to keep these young people. If you train them and they leave, that really hurts us.
Absolutely. And look, and it's not just about creating jobs. It's about creating a quality of life, which goes back to the discussion we've had over the last 20 minutes about the arena and the economic development district and all of that, creating a place where young people, when they graduate LSU, can come get a job at the lake, but know that they're going to have a quality of life here in Baton Rouge that makes them want to stay.
Here's a question I didn't ask yet, and I don't know, and I'm being honest. I don't know a lot of things. Where's this going to be built?
Right now, the site that they're looking at that is
no, y'all don't have a site yet.
So the site that they're looking at, nothing has been formally approved by the LSU Board of Supervisors, but
right.
The site they're looking at is that the golf course right there on LSU's campus. So there's an LSU golf course that's there.
I don't know why in my mind I'm thinking Barney Moore Track Stadium's in trouble. Is it still Barney? Is that still a track stadium?
It's still a track stadium.
Okay. I was
still
thinking
a track stadium.
Field. Don't tell me y'all gonna mess with that, but it's not.
No.
So where is the golf course?
Right next to Alex Box. So if you're headed down Nicholson, it's right there, right past Alex Box. But one of the really exciting.
That's really only one of the places you can grow on the campus, I guess, is kind of out that way. Huh?
That's close in proximity to Tiger Stadium, Alex Box, kind of that sports district.
Yeah, that wouldn't be far at all.
No, not at all. They've got land on the backside, some pasture land and all that stuff, but that's closer to the river. You want to keep campus tight. But one of the other really exciting aspects of our partnership is the medical research that we're able to do. I'll give you an example that I think your audience will find interesting. Sepsis is the number one leading cause of death in hospitals across America. Far too many people die from sepsis every single day. It's an infection of the blood. And up until now, there has never been a test that could rapidly diagnose a patient in the emergency room as whether or not they have sepsis. A doctor would look at you, look at your symptoms, take their best clinical guess as to whether they thought you had it or not, and then choose to throw all the antibiotics at you or made a judgment call that you weren't septic. And then they would take a test that 2 or 3 days would come back and go one way or the other. Well, obviously, in that scenario, there's a lot of added costs because you might be treating someone that's not septic with a lot of medication and treatment, assuming they are, or vice versa, you could possibly miss it. Well, LSU researchers that were partnered with Our Lady of the Lake physician scientists created the world's first rapid sepsis diagnostic test that could tell you on a basic blood test whether or not you have sepsis in under 10 minutes.
That would be phenomenal because you are correct. A friend of ours just passed away, and that was the cause. And the problem was, matter of fact, I got one really close to me that did this a few years ago, and they never recognized that's what it was. So they were treating for something else while they were dying.
Correct.
And that's tough. But so is this on the market already? I mean, this is
so it is. It is FDA approved. We've deployed it across our health systems, and they're starting to we partner with a company out of Silicon Valley, Cytovale, and they're beginning to deploy it in emergency rooms across America. And pretty soon, it will save hundreds of thousands, millions of lives over the life of this test. It is true medical breakthrough that started here in Baton Rouge, here at Our Lady of the Lake, and we're looking forward to doing more of that.
It's amazing, EJ, that science has never settled, even though that you have that. You're talking about the research and stuff. They're trying to take that and make it better. That's real science. You're always trying to make better, always trying to figure out.
That's right. And that sepsis test was 10 years in the making, right? And it was what we call bench to bed, right bedside, right here in Baton Rouge. And so we are working on other stuff in collaboration with LSU that we're going to deploy 5, 6, 10 years from now, right? And that's exciting. And that's the kind of state-of-the-art science that's happening right here in this community.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap up. I'm gonna let you wrap up with us. So, what is the process? Let's go from process of you got it all in plans, but what's the process? Who votes on it? When does it start? What's got to happen for everything to work in for y'all to get this thing complete?
The LSU team, the leadership, have a really good plan in place to brief the board of supervisors on the project, make sure that they understand everything about the business plan, where the funding is coming from, talk about OVG, the developer, why they're the right partner, make sure that LSU Board of Supervisors are comfortable that they have all the information necessary to make the decision, and we hope to do that in the next couple of months.
So, breaking ground when? If all that, let's say all that went like you thought it would go.
After approval, it's probably another 9 months or so
So let's
before
say
you have
a
a
year.
shovel in the ground. Yeah,
You think a year from now you could see shovel in the ground?
that's what we're hoping
And
for.
if you start a year from now, shovel in the ground, is this a 1-2 year bill? What is it?
We're looking, if this thing gets approved this fall, then we're looking at the latter half of 2029 for it to open up.
So they've got a few years to go,
It
but
does.
it's a big facility.
It is a $400 million plus state-of-the-art facility. It'll transform this community.
And that's unbelievable. Well, I'm sure you have your people for it, people against it. But are y'all past that right now? Somebody trying to stop something like this? Can I ask that question to you?
Of course, on the health system side, we're
Y'all all go.
completely on board, and we're just respecting the process with LSU, our partners, and we think this is going to end up right where we want it to go.
Yeah, it's always a process to get from A to Z. It just is, and it's not always pretty, but we'll wait and see what happens. Wish y'all the best of luck, and Ron, always good to see you again. EJ, feel like I got a new friend. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having us.
No,
Appreciate
God
you.
bless. Always like to learn a little bit more about what's going on around the state and in the area. So thank you. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up more the Moon Griffon show. Congressman Clay Higgins will join us in the second hour of the program. He's actually in my studio. I'm in y'all's studio, so that's the way it works when you're on the road. We'll be right back. All right, gentlemen.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ron, thank you. buddy.
Always.
You gonna be at the deal?
Yeah, I'll see you at 11:45.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more on
Put
the
something.
deal.
Yeah.
Just say, ma'am, it's nice meeting you.
Yeah.
I see
Think
that
about
you
it.
all talk.
She'll be on next time.
She come on anytime she wants to.
We
could-
want you to ask her the tough
She
questions.
could have took my mic and ratings might have went up. Hey, you'd have took my mic, the ratings would have skyrocketed. They would have kicked me off, which ain't a bad thing. Y'all going down the elevator? There's an elevator there. Y'all good luck. Well, what I do is, if people sell my network, I give them a pretty good percentage. So me and Gordy can negotiate all that after I can see how much money they're willing to spend. People like that spend a lot of money. You ain't talking about $2,000. So it should be good for y'all and me. How about that? Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. What an honor. Great day to be with you here in beautiful Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And, of course, it's 107.3 FM, our friends at Guarantee Broadcasting. So we had a chance to visit. I've been wanting to know about the project and the taxes and how all that worked. And appreciate those guys coming by for and spending some time with us today. So you just learn. And tell people all the time I learn. People agree, disagree on stuff all the time. I think this will be built, and this is something they want, and this is something that they're putting the money in, and so however they're doing it is the direction they're going, and it's going to be built. I didn't realize it would take about 4 years to get it completed, but the process, they're not going to stick a shovel in the ground for another year. So I mean, I get it. When I saw Kim Mulkey, Coach Mulkey mentioned this arena maybe a year or two ago, I said, man, there's something up, got to be. And so anyway, you got the gist of kind of what's been down the pipeline for a while. So it is what it is. By the way, and I've been on the phone with legislators in the last few days, and most of the legislatures have been talking mostly about the redistricting, the state of Louisiana, and a lot of them are trying to understand what's going on. But, if they didn't give us the district we got, we wouldn't have the problem. And it's all surrounded by what the courts are going to do. I tell you, I'm a wait and see guy on some stuff now. I hear stuff all the time. I thought this would happen, that would happen. And I'm a wait and see guy. And I'm going to wait and see what they do with the redistricting, because I, for one, don't have a lot of confidence in what a Supreme Court would do. I don't care how many Republicans are there. I don't count John Roberts as a Republican. Coney Barrett from Louisiana has been somewhat of a disappointment. Kavanaugh, too. I mean, yeah, they good sometimes, and then sometimes they rule in some areas that you go, why did they do that? So I'm not as convinced that Section 2 is going to be stripped out, and then we're going to be able to write districts like we want to. I'm not. And I think they're going to come back with a wrinkle. But I don't know what the wrinkle's going to be. I mean, do we need that part of it? No. But I'm just telling you, the other thing that I find odd that concerns me is all these states. I know what Texas is doing is right, but what California's doing and Maryland may do and New York may do. Well, they only have nothing but basically Democrats anyway are going to strip the few Republicans that'll remain in Congress, all in the name of having that power. I said it back then. I say it now. We should have fought harder back in the day to make sure that when we count people, you count people who live here that are citizens. And I go back to Rush Limbaugh. He was such an awesome figure and was a smart guy. When he used to say Democrats are doing this illegal stuff because they're trying to create an underclass that they can control. And that's exactly what they're doing. That's backfired somewhat on them. But in some parts it hadn't, because when you're counting illegals, and then you always wonder, why are these blue states allowing all these illegals to come live in their states? Illinois, New York, Oregon, California, New Mexico. These people did this so they can have more congressional seats, which means they have more clout, they have more money coming in, because it's all determined by how many people you have in your area. Louisiana lost 2 congressional seats. Now, we have an out-migration problem. It's no doubt. But some of the reason that we may have lost a seat is because these other people were taking in as many as they can. Under Joe Biden, let's be blunt, we didn't have a border. We did not have a border under Joe Biden. Come as you are. No matter what you're going to do to somebody when you get here, come as you are. It was amazing. I was reading Borderless Britain. Foreign national sex convictions surged by more than 60% over the past 4 years. Because they just let them in. When people come, you say, well, Moon, this is kind of crude. That's how we all started. That's not true. Once you start building a nation, you have to have rules and laws for the border to protect the culture that you become. We were the freest culture in the world. We had the freest culture in the world. So we had to protect the borders. And then the people that came here, it didn't matter if you were black or white or where you came from, you got to come legally. If you do that, you can maintain the culture of freedom. These people coming from these other countries, they know mob rule. That's all they know. That's all they understand. Some of the ones that are coming over here to hurt the United States of America anyway. But the Brits are finding out real quick because they're way ahead of us. We're really just started cranking up illegals to come over here in the last 10 years. They've been doing it for 30 or 40 years, and it's running their country. I'm telling y'all, folks, if we had a media that was calling balls and strikes fairly, they would go in the inner cities and they would tell us the truth of what's going on in these inner cities. They would go to the border and they would have showed all these illegals coming in here. Every time an illegal kills somebody in a truck or drugs or rape, they would make this the biggest story ever. It's not to, it's just to be honest with people so we'll know what's going on. Because it hadn't affected you personally yet, doesn't mean it's not going to affect you one day, and me included. So the Brits are finding out the hard way, and we are too. It doesn't make any sense. Folks, why would you pass? Why would you let people come in and watch the surge in sex convictions and the surge in child pornography and the surge in drugs and overdose and killings? Why would you allow that? Who does that? What do Democrats do? And weak Republicans. This is what they allow to happen to this country. And it's a shame. By the way, the only thing I'll mention, as you know, was hoping I had Bill Cassidy on Thursday, and he's not coming. And but the Hayride's got a great, not the Hayride, the Dead Pelican at the front of the page. If you want to read all about the story written by Joe Cunningham out of KPEL, you can read more about that. I'll let y'all go dive, and I'm not diving into it. Somebody called me the other day to make a quote, and I told him, I've asked Senator Cassidy to come on for an hour. I've been doing it for 3 years. I got all the proof in my telephone. Okay? And but to come on for a whole hour and come in person. That's it. Other than that, we're going to talk about everything. We're going to talk about his things, good, bad, and ugly, and get it over with. But they chose not to, and that's their choice. But if you want to read about it, it's at KPEL's website. And it's also the Dead Pelican has picked up the story, and probably more to come. I have no comment on it. Somebody asked me the other day, what do you think? So-and-so did this. I don't care. I don't care what Cassidy says. I don't care what his people say. I don't care if anything. I'll just tell you, 1 hour, okay, person to person. That's all I care about. I don't care about anything else. I don't care what people say. I don't care if people take shots at me. Go for it. 1 hour. And by the way, it's not an hour. What, John, 40, I think our average program is about 41 minutes an hour. 42 at the most, considering commercials and all that kind of stuff. Top of the hour news, bottom of the hour news. So that's all I'm going there. I have nothing to say about it. It's not a big deal to me. I don't care what people say. I don't care what people write. I don't care what he thinks. I don't care what his people think. It's just that if he wants to come, man, he is welcome anytime he wants to come. And after that, he can come as much as time. He can call on the phone, do whatever he wants to do. I'm all over. But that's where I stand. Nothing else to say about it. I have no comment. I don't care if somebody gets mad at me. I'm not a narcissist. People that come on this program understand that. They know that I'm going to be fair. All right, when we get back, we did get an elected official say he wants to come on an hour. And it's Congressman Higgins wants to come on, and he said, I'll take any of your questions. So that's good to know. And by the way, he's going to join us when we get back. Don't go anywhere. Looking forward to talking to the cap. All right, take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. He was the original guy that called running against Higgins. He's going to be on next. He's my contact. He wanted to run against him. He's back. I'm going to ask him. Captain, a lot of people had you in this race. And but the problem is, if he loses, he has release guy for 2025. Oh, Marucci has come some big. Huh? What's up, my brother? How you been? Busy. Oh, I know you always running around. Well, yeah, if it will be, if we can. I think we're gonna get him. See, I always get a little worried, like with They fall from it. How about that? Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show, hour number 2 of the Moon Griffon Show, of course, in Baton Rouge in conjunction with our good friends at Talk 107.3 FM Guaranteed Broadcasting. We are in their studio, and it is an honor to be with you. Matthew James, Tax Pro Hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, that's one way. You can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. We are honored by Congressman Clay Higgins joins us. Congressman Higgins, how you doing, man? It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. No, thank you. It's an honor. I'm kind of laughing because, everybody's talking about the United States Senate race, and, you were one of the most one of the biggest names to pop up as somebody potentially looking at this race. And I know you ended up not running. Are you glad you made that choice? I know you got some seniority now in Congress too, though. So there's a lot that goes into making a decision to go from Congress and the House to the Senate. Just your thoughts on why you didn't get in the race, or maybe you feel very comfortable with what you're doing now. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said it before. I say it again. I still think we're gonna have a new senator. I still believe that 100%. I think the Trump voters are going to vote, and they're going to remove Cassidy. Who's going to win in that field? It's going to have to, we're going to see how the race breaks down. I think that, we just got to wait. It's one of those things that we're going to have to wait and see. Yeah, I agree 100%. His name is Clay Higgins. He is our congressman. Clay, I want you to make a little time to talk about the president and the fact that he's serious about crime, and look what he's done in D.C. I mean, I don't know if we've had a murder in 11 or 12 days. Can you talk a little bit about what 12 days? And so it shows the contrast of Biden Obama ticket, because that's what it was, and the Democrats being in charge, and President Trump and the Republicans being in charge. Crime is devastating to Democrats and Republicans. But man, he just looked up and said it. So they hollering unconstitutional and all that. Can you explain what the president's doing? Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things that I want you to explain to people, because the Democrats and the media are running out there and going, well, Trump's being a dictator, and this is what you do in Germany. He's going to want to take over city by city, and none of that's true. I mean, they throwing this stuff out there. I don't think the president has a goal to go city by city. I think the president, you can correct me, I think the president is reaching out to these cities saying, if you need help, we're here to help. Why don't you let us come help? Because if 12 days, no murder, I got to believe the criminals, the thugs are going, hold up just a second, man. We're going to get slaughtered out here with all these people in here watching what's going on, which has never really been done in D.C. in a long time. Yep. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, it's kind of like that in military. If you're gonna act weak, if your country's gonna act weak, the countries would do whatever they want to you. But once you stand up and man up and tell them we coming after you, and you get as aggressive as them, they don't have the firepower that the police and the feds have. So I gotta believe that's a deterrent right there. Just the fact that, man, you got more people, we got to be cool because these guys they can get all the type weapons they can to put down any of this crime. And by the way, this needs to be done, especially in the blue cities. It's like they welcome crime. It's okay. Y'all kill, steal, do whatever the hell y'all want to do. Just remember to vote for us on election day. Mhm. Mhm. All right, let me take a break. His name is Congressman Clay Higgins, and Congressman Higgins he has a lot of seniority now. When we come back. I want to talk about what's going on with illegals because that looked like we're aggressive on that, and that's changing as well, and it's something you know a lot about. We take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show right here in Baton Rouge with our friends at Guarantee Broadcast, and we'll be right back. just an unbelievable job. We're hearing about the rest. We're hearing about a lot less people coming over at the border. Can you tell us what we're doing and where are we now compared to we were before Donald Trump became the president again? Wow. You got to be joking. My God, that's a gigantic difference. Hmm. Wow. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Let me ask you a question, Clay. Was the first concentration on the bad guys? And what I mean by bad guys is the ones that were involved in criminal activity. Because I noticed a lot of arrests on drug dealers, rapists, and all that kind of stuff. So, talk a little bit about the difference between that and the regular guy just leaving. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me take a break, but I wanted to ask you another question off of this because it's amazing. Y'all, Trump, they can find them, but Biden and Obama's team couldn't find all these bad people. Anyway, we'll come back, start with that. His name is Clay Higgins. He is our congressman. We'll take a break, be right back. Yeah, John, it's good to Hi, hello, welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. What a great day to be with you on a terrific Tuesday, 844-766-6607. Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. We in Baton Rouge broadcast today. Talk 107.3 FM. My Honorable Clay Higgins, our congressman, is my special guest, and we're talking right now about issues that affect things. Hey, Clay, on the illegals, I want to stick to that just a second. Because I had a question for you, because I've heard this, but you probably are a perfect person to answer this. So I heard that with all these illegals that we're running out of here, we're not gonna have nobody to work all these jobs and these business people. So how have y'all had to take what y'all trying to do, which is right, based on when these business people say, hold up, I'm working, because there's a legal way for businesses to get people from other countries to work here, correct? So how's that being balanced? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, good point. By the way, let me stop you right there, Congressman, and I'm gonna put it on one step further. And I think you agree with me. If you don't, you can correct me. A business that wants people to work and they know they need some of these workers, I think should do everything to make sure they're legally here to work. Don't something goes back on them as well? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you said it that way, Congressman, because nobody deserves to be here illegally. It's breaking our laws. You know, if you were a policeman, so I'm in a 60 and I'm doing 75, and you pull me over, and you say, "Man, you're doing 75 miles an hour. You know how dangerous that is?" And I get a ticket, probably because I broke the law. They get to break the law, and we got to look the other way, and then we pay for them. And that's the next question. You know, they talked about Medicaid cuts. Medicaid program's going up 3%. The Medicaid wants to cut out illegals getting something they don't deserve. And so you guys are doing the right thing, but the media and the Democrats try to turn everything into hate and race. Everything. And that you're trying to save the country from the country deteriorating. We got $37 trillion worth of debt. Okay? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, none of that should offend anybody. But you know, they went out there, oh, you cut Medicaid, the big beautiful bill, cut Medicaid. And I'm saying, now, you know, and Congressman, it takes, you know, I might not be the brightest, but if you have $100 budget and you go up to 103, I can't tell you that my budget went down. It doesn't make any damn sense. You see what I'm saying? But that's what the Democrats and the media, oh, they cut. Well, if you were helping illegals, you might have got cut. If it was fraud, you might have got cut. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, you know, that was the other thing that I brought up. Look at the night and day difference that y'all and President Trump has done compared to what the Biden, I call it Obama administration. They could have done all this. They chose not to even look at it. They don't look at the fentanyl problem. They don't look at the drug problem. They don't look at the child trafficking problem. They don't look at the murders. They don't look at the rapes. They don't even look at this stuff in the inner cities. They don't. And so that's running the country? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Let me take a break. We'll wrap up with Congressman Clay Higgins when we take this break. 844-766-6607, the Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. Take a break. Be right back. Yeah, man. When you do 2 hours of programming, and it's quick when you're used to doing 3. It's quick enough with 3.
It's like yesterday I was producing a show, Upset, Hunt Palmer show, and I was kind of doing some training with that. And man, a 2-hour show is just so different. That extra hour, like I don't know what it is, but
Doing 3, you go down to 2.
yeah, like Brian's show, we do 3 hours, and I go, I'm training that, and that 2 hours is like, oh, that was okay.
Well, what I'm saying is, just like if you work a 50-hour week, 55 hour
Yeah,
week, all
yeah.
of a sudden you was only working 40, 30 days.
Yeah, yeah,
So, pretty good.
yeah,
It's
really.
really easy when you start cutting back
Shoot.
the time. But when I come here, I see I don't guest up as much as I didn't have a guest on this.
Oh, really?
I didn't have a guest from 9/11. Had no guest. Today I just had 2. But the 2 that was here and then this. But
I guess I didn't really think
A lot
about it
of
because
times
usually I'm in here listening.
Huh?
Usually I'm in here when I'm doing Brian's post production stuff. I'm listening.
But I don't always do guests, and then sometimes I got a lot of guests, and it just depends on the day and when they book.
What would you rather, no guests or guests?
I hardly ever book guests. These 2 guys are here today. They called. Clay called yesterday. Said, "Hey, Cassie ain't coming. I'll do all. Would you ask me anything you want?"
Dang.
So he came on, and
Actually, I got to take that.
Clay probably could have beat Cassie. He's pretty popular.
Yeah. So what would you rather, guests or no guests?
I don't like having guests a lot, but I do like them
Yeah.
occasionally.
Yeah.
Occasionally, what it do is break the monotonous of just you talking.
Yep.
The other thing we used to do till Walker became the producer, I took a lot more calls. But I've been dwindling away from calls for a while.
Yeah.
Now I don't care if I ever take a call. If it's a good new call,
Yeah.
I do that. But other than that, people, and you know, you train people not to call.
How you do that?
Just don't take them.
Oh, yeah.
Walker has trained everybody not to call.
Dang.
Is Mr. Flint Foster come through here much or not a whole lot?
Not a whole lot.
Is he here every day?
I don't know. I see him usually. You know when I see him? Usually when I'm downstairs and I'm talking with Judy before I leave. He'll pass back and forth. But yeah, I don't know if he ever comes
You know,
up here too much.
He's been almost every time I've been here at least one time. One time we talked about 15 minutes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No. To be honest with you,
Still on,
Yeah.
They own the right now. He sold the insurance part, didn't he?
I think so. And now I think
Do
they're
they
getting.
still work over there? Is it still here? Not even here.
I don't even think it's even here. No. I think on that side it's just sales for all the digital media stuff.
Hi, hello. Welcome back to the Moon Griffon Show. I want to thank our friends at Talk 107.3 FM for putting up with us, Guaranteed Broadcasting. And, of course, this is what it sounds like when you have a congressman or a sitting United States Senator comes on for an hour. It's what it sounds like, folks. Clay Higgins, Congressman Higgins, my special guest. It's a Matthew James Tax Pro hotline. You can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Somebody asked a great question, and you can answer this, Congressman. I'm going to ask it anyway. I think you saw all the unlawful acts that was committed against Donald Trump by people from the DOJ to whatever, and the Russian collusion and all that. It's just a question. You make an answer, you may not can touch it. Any handcuffs on anybody before this thing's all said and done because of all the stuff they did to Trump, to our country, and the laws that were broken? Or is that something you got to stay away from because it's being investigated? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The tariffs. The everybody made a big deal about tariffs. And my question to you is, people start to say, well, they're causing prices to go up and all that. Man, prices have been skyrocketing before Donald Trump was ever won the presidency again. And my question to you is, what's been the effect of the tariffs? I saw today tariffs, because of what we did with tariffs, we've made the U.S. economy start to roll again. But people talking about the prices, but I don't see where the prices have gone up any higher. But under Biden, it's skyrocketed. Mm-hmm. 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 No way. No way. We should have this debt, which, by the way, and I don't have much time left, the debt part, and I know the big, beautiful bill put a $5 trillion ceiling on that. And I hope it's not used. I hope we go the other direction because I know you had to do that because the Democrats used that in the election process. Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely the spending. Definitely the spending. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, it looks like it really does look like he's a step ahead of everybody on the tariffs. I've had buddies of mine that when the president started talking about tariffs, which by the way, he talked about it during the election. When he started talking about and actually doing it, they said, "Man, I can't believe he's doing this." When you got some, they thought it was going to be a total disaster, and these are people that invest billions. And they called me back and they said, "You know what? It could be a disaster. It could be the most brilliant thing anybody's ever done." And it looks like to me it's closer to that than being a disaster. Could you imagine, Congressman? Can you imagine if our debt was 2 trillion, where inflation would be right now? Unbelievable how great it would be. Hey, we got to go. Hey, thank you for coming on the well, now we know what it looks like when a congressman comes on for an hour and not just 10 minutes. Thank you, sir. All right, folks. God bless you folks leaving us. MoonGriffon.com. Listen live. Another hour to go. For the rest of you, God bless. No, instead of 10, you heard him laugh?